Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on Top TV. It's a beautiful day here in the city of Port Harcourt, and it's the 5th day in the month of October 2022. And this is the newspaper review. So if you're watching us right now, I promise you are in the right place at the right time. And here with me on the program is the beautiful Janie and the delectable Natasha. Yes, we are going to take the newspaper headlines together and we'll get to review these things together. So you can also be a part of it by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section. Would love to know what you think about these headlines as we go on, talking about them. So I'm going to go straight to the headlines for today, the 5th day in the month of October, and we'll begin with these day newspapers as usual. Yes, we'll always begin with these day because, it's a very premium and very, well-packaged paper. All right, on this day newspaper here, the headline from the top says Buhari accuses ASU of corruption as federal government registers 2 new varsity-based unions move to liberalize academic sector, claims Ngige. Labour minister is desperate. Newly registered associations are I'm going to take that again. It's a Labour minister is desperate. Newly registered associations are dissidents, ASU insists. Speaker of House of Reps presents proposal to Buhari, says end of 7-month strike by academics imminent. All right, moving on to other headlines here on this day, we see for second time in 45 years, NNPCL declares profit, rakes in 674 billion naira after tax revenues. All right, that story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. As the major headline on this day, we see here Emefiele, rise in disruptive banking technologies disturbing, says deposit-taking fintechs must be capitalized with 25 billion naira. Curtail potential threats from financial technologies companies. Orders, Ahmed charges regulators. All right, banking crisis may have contagion effects. NDIC warns. Wema Bank, Nigeria's economic growth continues to suffer from underperforming oil sector. I beg your pardon. Hails country's apex bank's intervention lowers GDP projection to 3.3%. All right. So details of all of that you see on this day newspaper. At the very bottom part of this day here, we see Sanwo-Olu surprises Lagos civil servants with salary increment. Aren't that a good news, Natasha?
Absolutely.
All right. I'm sure every civil servant loves to hear increment in their salary. Yes. What's your reaction to that? The increment in the Lagos State civil service.
My major issue is it a ploy, for his second term ambition, to make the APC look good? Or what really is his motive? Because you've been on for a few years and all of a sudden, just a few months to, the 2023 elections, you're deciding to do this. On the surface, it seems really altruistic. Like, okay, so let me do this for the people. Especially he could say, even due to the economy and the hardship in the land, let's be able to implement a new salary scale or something for Lagos State civil servants. But at the end of the day, what is the motive? Is it so that, everybody looks at you and says, Sanwo-Olu has done a good job, so let's bring you back into office. He's a part of the APC party. They're not that bad, so let's bring them back, come 2023. I think a lot of people would have applauded him if it had been done earlier. But you doing it just a few months before the elections, it looks like it's tailor-made, to get people to galvanize support, for your second term ambition. So, that's what I have to say about it, even though it's a good thing. Because who doesn't need some increments in this economy? By the end of the day, his motive is questionable.
Yeah, Jennifer, do you agree with Natasha's notions?
Yeah, very well. I do agree to that because I don't think he's doing it too early or too. He just came all of a sudden and salary increment. The people will have something at the back of their mind. Some will say this is just to make the APC look very good, because I'm very sure that come the 2023 election, someone who wouldn't be there. So why the salary increase? Anyway, if it's for good, whatever it is for, let Lagosians enjoy.
Time will tell. Like I would always say, salary increments is a very good one, and then it benefits a lot of civil servants based on the very harsh economy that we are
Oh yes,
facing. It's for me,
definitely.
it's timely.
With the whole inflation, it's so
I'm
timely.
who wouldn't want that? But then, very good question raised by Natasha when it's like, what is the motive? Is it for elections? Because we're going to see more of this kind of very benevolent moves by
Gestures,
yeah,
yes.
gestures by governors and leaders that are vying or seeking for second terms, just like someone who that is seeking for a second term. He's doing so much. I'm a good and reputable governor. I'm a good man. He's been all over the place campaigning for the APC. He has even begun campaigns on behalf of Tinubu before Tinubu comes back to the country. So yeah, I hope, I believe that we're going to see more of this kind of interesting move by the governor. All right, we're going to move on to our next paper, and that will be the Daily Sun for today, the 5th day of October 2022. And on the Daily Sun here, it says NNPC posts 674 billion naira profit after tax in 2021. Details of that is on page 2 of the Daily Sun newspaper. Also on the Daily Sun here, we see frustration as fuel queues return in Abuja. Frustration as fuel queues return in Abuja. Also, as a major headline here, it says Wike Board of Trustees meeting inconclusive as Atiku flags off campaign October 10th. Rivers Governor pledges commitment to peace. National Working Committee in marathon meeting over returned checks. All right. Other headlines here on the Daily Sun. We see here explosion rocks rivers oil wells. That story is on page 4 of the Daily Sun. And we also see here bailout economy gulps over 9 trillion naira in 3 years. CBN. At the bottom part of the Daily Sun here, federal government slams 30 billion naira suit on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, others over tax kicks against use of unapproved materials. All right, what do you say to that story? Do you want to react to it? Jennifer says federal government slams 30 billion naira lawsuit on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, others over tax kicks against use of unapproved materials.
Yeah, right. You know, so many adverts are being carried out on Facebook. That's when we say the Meta family, the
Yeah.
WhatsApp, the Twitter, and all that.
Yeah.
And coming to talk about, trying to talk about some other stuff that are done in the country.
Yeah.
They pay a higher tax. But some of these adverts that are done online, the way they pay, I don't think the federal government benefits a lot from them.
True.
So I think it would be a nice thing now coming up to Mark Zuckerberg and co saying, okay, you pay us this way, this is what we want. Because there are a lot adverts going on.
Very
there
true.
are a lot from businesses to whatever. So what they're saying, I think that is the real thing. The Meta family should try and do something about it.
Yeah.
You can't just use Nigeria just like that. So you give it to Nigeria. Nigeria gets from you, gain from you also, and then when they gain from you, they know that yes, this is what we're getting from the Meta family.
Yeah.
The adverts should be able to produce enough tax for the country. So
Yeah.
I'm
Very true.
supporting that.
That's very
I'm
true.
supporting
What's your
that.
reaction to the story, though?
I think that it is something that should definitely be looked into. It's they make a lot of money from us.
Yeah.
You know, in as much as social media is like a come to stay vehicle to push out your products and services and all of that. But at the end of the day, I think that it's important that also they remit some form of tax to the country. Like Jennifer said, but one thing I also want to point out is in as much as they're making money, you know, from advert placement, we also know that they've created employment also for Nigerians, you know, with their infrastructure, with their companies, you know, they all have their centers here.
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, you know, they all have their centers here. So there's some employment, you know, with the citizenry, but definitely as regards tax, we need some remitted, you know, back into our coffers. But the funny thing that I always think about when it comes to our NCC and you know, the broadcasting
The regulatory
bodies is I do not understand what usually happens at the get-go. You know, have you been sleeping for a time and all of a sudden you wake up, oh, we need money,
Yeah.
what should we do?
Yeah.
Okay, these people have not been remitting tax. Now we have to hit you with 30 billion.
30
It is
good
a funny
billion.
thing
Yeah.
that, for example, when Twitter was banned the other time, meetings were held.
Yeah.
What
What
was
were
said.
what were the discussion?
Okay,
Yeah.
now with that avenue for having this meeting with Twitter, why didn't they use that avenue to also speak with these other social media platforms to say that this is what we demand of you, and if this is not done, this will be the consequence? But all of a sudden, you're coming back up and making it look like you're doing work overtime.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move, but I think that these things should be planned before time.
Yeah.
You know, it shouldn't just spring up.
Regulations are good.
I mean-
You know, regulations are good, and that's what the federal government is now doing. So the question, like you asked, is what have they been doing before now?
No, maybe they just found out that they've been sleeping.
So now they want to take it hard on these guys. 30 billion naira is a lot of money. We're not saying that
It's not so
you know,
much money to
it's,
them,
yeah,
but
we're not
then
saying
at
that
the end
Meta
of
is
the
a
day-
Meta is not a poor company. I mean, they
Yeah.
are worldwide, they are global, and they are that rich. They can pay 30 billion naira
I want to be
is
taxed.
peanut. Yes, it's peanut to them. But then the regulations, the moment federal government decided to regulate these social media, faces, or how would I put it, platforms. I already saw this coming, that all of these things will somehow get to them, and they are going to now place a ban or some kind of tax on all of these kind of things, because most Nigerians have now moved their businesses from in person to social media. In fact, the businesses that are in person are very few these days. The main places where people make money from now are on the social media, and it is just strictly Facebook and Instagram. This is where you find most businesses, and they are doing very well. So I don't think it is out of place for the federal government to say, okay, we want to begin to tax you guys. You make so much money off of these businesses that are supposed to be under regulations, because if you look at it itself, most businesses in Nigeria are not paying taxes. A good percentage of them are not paying taxes to the federal government. So people register.
fault is that?
Okay. I don't,
Is their
So
fault?
many businesses
their
get
fault?
registered on Facebook. But
yeah.
they aren't registered under the
CAC.
CAC or even SON.
I'm telling you. So
So-
who is regulating them? And that's why, yes, what I think the federal government is doing now is really great. And if they can really keep up with it and do it the right way, because I know Nigeria can be very
Funny with our,
with our approach, yes, and policies. Let it not be that they finally shut down everything, but they should find a middle ground where this thing can work for both parties properly. All right, we're going to go into our last paper for the day, but before we do that, we'd like to take a very short break, and when we come back, we'll continue with our newspaper reviews. You stay tuned.
Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
All right, welcome back from that short break, and thank you so much for staying with us as we continue the newspaper reviews here on the program. All right, we're going to go into our last paper for today, and that will be Daily Trust. Daily Trust for today, the 5th day in the month of October 2022. And on this paper, we see here as a headline, petrol queues resurface in Abuja as marketers fault logistics. Petrol queues resurface in Abuja as marketers fault logistics. PDP crisis, Board of Trustee to convene emergency meeting over Wike's position. NNPC net profits leaps 674 billion naira, sells 11 trillion naira oil in 6 months. As the major headline on Daily Trust, you see here, strike. Federal government registers another union to checkmate ASU. Konwa, as no members exist only in OAU. Lecturers mock government. Unions complicit of corruption in Ivory Towers, says Buhari. Corruption will soon kill education sector, Jega warns. All of that you find on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Other headlines here on Daily Trust, we see Buhari confers integrity award on SP Ama, who rejected $200,000 bribe. Wow, that's an interesting one. Rico, I want to ask, what kind of Nigerian is that one? I need to.
Nigerians are amazing people. Don't ask that. Don't ask that.
Wait,
We
no.
always return our money. Thank you very much.
I agree that we are amazing.
We're amazing
But
people.
this sum of money was not an ordinary sum. $200,000.
We're good people like that.
Hey!
Nigerian is good. Thank
God
you.
bless him.
Except the
In
hush
fact,
puppies.
for me, he deserves the award. He deserves the award because that amount of money can shake anybody.
Definitely.
It can confuse anybody to want to think two times.
Especially in this, no, come on.
In this very tough economy, he
Yeah.
rejected $200,000. Jesus, the guy deserves more than that award. Though. Very commendable right there. But then I want to ask Jennifer, let's go into the main stories. Federal government is at it again with ASU. You know, ASU has been on the news since over 6 months now, since they went on strike. This time, federal government has gone on to create 2 more associations, like a rival associations that is going to kind of like tone down the powers of ASU. And it says federal government registers another union to checkmate ASU. All right, what's your reaction to that story?
All right. It sounds very funny.
Yeah.
You know, in a country where we are having about 3 academic union, we have the ASU, now we have the KONOA, now we have the NAMDA. It's very funny, and at this stage, this is about 8 months of ASU strike. I think the federal government is making the whole thing look very dramatic.
Very.
Yes, it's becoming very dramatic, and Nigerians are bearing it. We're talking about Nigerians, the parents, to the ASU students, the lecturers. We just need to mention so many people that are undergoing pains through this thing. It's very dramatic. You have 2 more bodies. What are their jobs? What exactly are they to do?
Yeah.
Remember that these 2 bodies, they are a faction of the already existing
the current one, yeah.
ASU. What do you want them to do? You want them to condemn the already existing body? What exactly do they want to do? They want to tell these ASUs, please resume classes, come back to school, forget about your demands. I want to know what Buhari is talking about. And, you know, they're trying to tell us that the lecturers have been very, they have been trying to work against because they're collecting bribes, this and that. That's not it right now.
Yeah.
What exactly is the work of these the new bodies that have been introduced?
Very true.
The KONOA and the NAMDA, what exactly does federal government want them to do?
Will their demands be different from what ASU is asking for?
I know very well that it is a bravo. We need to clap for Ngige because in his own sect, he has played his role to get another body registered. Yes, he has done a very nice job. He's getting bodies to be registered. But what exactly do you want them to do? The same people that are coming from the old, let me know, even already existing
ASU.
sect. So what exactly do you want them to do?
Their demands going to be different from what ASU is asking for,
In fact,
because
they're
they will all have, you know,
trouble.
they will have more demands too, or they will have their separate.
It's just a very, very funny one.
Yeah.
It's a funny one because in as much as you say that these bodies are needed to checkmate ASU, the timing is totally wrong.
It was clear. No, it was clear that they did it to taunt ASU.
What is needed at this point in time is a way forward.
Thank you.
For these students to go back to classes. And just because you cannot come to a consensus, you start springing up some other bodies that are an offshoot of the already existing body. I think I do not know why Ngige has not yet been called out of that office, but I think even the timing is even too late because it's almost done with his tenure. But at the end of the day, this is despicable. It is ugly, you know, on the face of the federal government. I wish that they will come up with the much needed actions, which is how do we move forward and get our students back to classes. Creating all these other bodies just creates a lot of drama around this whole
Very
thing.
true.
It's still a backward move anyway.
You
at
know,
the end of the day.
you know, don't forget that the presidency is the president because the news is attributed to him. When it says, you know, complicit of corruption in Ivory Tower, says Buhari. So it's Buhari that's been speaking that ASU has corruption in it, that they have refused to pay.
Look at the federal government speaking about corruption.
Yeah,
really?
you know, and they are bringing this up on the heels of ASU being on their neck, because ASU has never been so determined ever since I knew them going on strike. They have never been so determined like they are now to get it right, you know. And this time around, they say we're going to throw in everything to ensure that the federal government, you know, agrees to some of these agreements that they have already signed before. Implementation has always been the problem. So at this point in time, federal government is now coming from different angles to also rope them and make them look like, okay, you're not better than us. You cannot tell us that, okay, if we don't do this, you won't do this, and all of that. Say, you guys are complicit of, tax evasion and all of those things. And also, there hasn't been any review as to your expense over 5 years. Why? What have you guys been doing with the levies and all the monies that you guys have been collecting as an association, So they are using all of that to want to rope them. But at the same time, I must say that the labor minister hasn't really been hasn't been handling this thing very well, because every time we see him on the news, he's staging a walkout on these guys.
Or either slapping them at the back.
I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Why are you doing that? I mean, these guys are aggrieved. Is it not proper that you sit down and continue negotiations with these people, whether the shifting grounds or not? It is just proper that you sympathize with them, you're empathetic of them. But every time he's staging a walkout on them.
On the other hand, the ASU chairman seems to be so stubborn.
Because he has read the body language of the labor minister. So they just keep going at it, and it's never ending. And then these young chaps at home are just wasting away. You know what? Even 1 month of not, reading or studying or, taking in what you need to take in, 1 month can make a lot of difference. And then this is 7 months and counting.
The other day I was speaking with a number of these young folks out of school. A lot of them have gotten into businesses. In fact, if they call up the strike, some of them might not even go back. I so
agree with you. Some of them are, they're already saying it. Some of them have left the country. The ones that are here are already telling you that I just discovered that I was wasting my time in school. I mean, and they are taking up new businesses that are giving them money, so they don't need education anymore. Is that not brain drain that we're talking about?
See, I have something to say about that. You guys have just talked about a lot of them moving forward, a lot of them getting into businesses, discovering their talents. Have you thought about it? The other time I was at the state CID somewhere, one of the states in Nigeria, and some of these youths, especially the ones that are supposed to have graduated in one way or the other with the insecurity in the society right now, some of them are there, they're in the cell. Wow. For one reason or the other, some, like what we say, I know follow. They're there.
But you're there now.
Some their parents don't even know that they're there. So this thing have caused a lot of damage, and even some of the ladies are already into different kind of things.
Oh God, we really hope that
this bringing up a drama at the wrong time.
Yeah, I still agree, and we're hoping that it's not only setting up these other bodies. When you set up this body, has it finally resolved the issue? Are these children going to go back to school, and at what time? Because getting all these other bodies set up is not the solution to the current situation. ASU, you have not been able to resolve the demands of ASU. That means they are still not going to resume. Unless you only want the medical students to go back to school. Of course, those ones can go back. But what then happens to the other students that are still at home?
To the other lecturers.
Yes, because, you need to see these lecturers. Have you spoken to any lecturer recently? It's not going down well with these guys. They are making a lot of sacrifice to get this right. So we are hoping that the federal government sees that and then, do the right thing to get everybody back on track. And lastly, I'd like us to talk about, the petrol scarcity that is resurfacing or that is coming up in Abuja. Normally, during this period, leading up to the last quarter of the year, these are not very uncommon where you see, petrol scarcity coming up in different areas. And sometimes it goes full blown all over the country. I hope this is not a sign of that creeping in again. This one that is starting from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja.
This is where Melakera will come and do the magic. So that we know that at least NMPC is doing the right thing and we're moving forward. I think that, with the whole dissolution of, NMPC as being a federal government body and now being like a corporate body, in competition with others, I think it will help mitigate this whole fuel scarcity issue that we see crop up almost at the end of every year. So I don't think it will be a widespread thing. Right now it's happening in Abuja, but I think in a few days or so it will be quashed, because basically the whole drama is mostly about logistics. Not like shortage, not about shortage of fuel, but mostly about logistics. So I think that will be sorted out.
You feel the same way too?
I feel the same way because what I wanted to say before was that the Nigeria where we are.
Mm.
You can always expect anything.
Yeah.
And they've made it to look like they've made it that in a way that each time it comes to it approaches the Christian
Yeah.
festivals
Okay.
in Nigeria, petrol will just the price will just go high. Or one week this time around they said it's logistics.
Yeah.
We can just hold on to it October, November, December.
And then we're there.
I want to understand where they're coming from.
Well, I don't want to pin it on Christian.
religion, right?
Yeah, but then we know that towards the last quarter of most years we've had to experience fuel scarcity.
This is not the best time.
Yes, it's never the
Especially
best
when
time
we're
because
expecting the 2023 election and
good
Everything.
everything.
for me, I'm also pitching my argument on Natasha's notion where she's saying that it will wear off. It will really wear off because leading up to the elections, I don't think this APC government want to.
pray
want
it
any
does.
other
They don't want to
than-
smell anything that will make them look bad.
They're already smeared to the teeth.
So any
just
fuel
make it
scarcity
over
at the moment is going to make them lose votes. So me, I know that for this year, this last quarter, we're going to enjoy abundance of fuel supply. This one that is happening in Abuja will just end up, in fact, it will be fixed in the next 3 days. We'll not see it on the papers again. That's what I predict though.
Unless you're done.
All right, that's all we'll be taking today on the Newspaper Review. I want to thank you, Natasha and Jennifer. Thank you guys for making it to the program. And to our viewers, you guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much for staying with us up to this time. Don't forget to also be a part of the conversation by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section. And don't forget to also follow us on our social media handles. We're on Facebook as Tap TV. On Instagram, it's TapTV_NG. And on Twitter, it's a Tap TV. So connect with us on all of this platform. We want to have you closer than you think. All right, till next time I come your way again. My name is William Sabule, and this has been the Newspaper Review on Tap TV. See you next time.